Hello guys, so this is Lisa connecting, going live every Wednesday at 7:30. Today I am more punctual and talking about different topics. So just a reminder, I am an occupational therapist. I work with children with special needs and children with different ages and different difficulties. And basically, the idea of coming here live every Wednesday is just to share some of my knowledge with you and obviously give you the opportunity also if you feel like to ask me anything or if you are interested in anything in particular that you would like to ask an occupational therapist, you have this opportunity, let's say like that. Today, I wrote in the title of today's streaming is going to be about grinding teeth and chewing skills. I had a request of a couple of parents to talk a little bit about this, and I saw some new followers who are rewatching my videos and asking me the same question. So I decided to do this video answering the same topic, and then maybe we can jump into something else if you feel like to talk about something else, etc. Hope you are doing good. It's a Wednesday, middle of the week. I'm a little bit today, not down, but a little bit tired. The week's been full of sessions, full of different stress. So yeah, not always our job is easy, no? We've been actually having a lot of consultations for picky eaters, but at the same time, children who require some assistance in chewing and grinding teeth. So I will say that these two aspects, they always come together, no? Chewy tubes and grinding teeth. Not always the chewy tubes will be fixing the problem of grinding teeth. Hello, Sarah. I am in Malta. And you, where are you from? Not always grinding teeth will be solving the problem. Not always the chewy tubes will find and solve the issue of grinding the teeth. But most of the time, as an occupational therapist, we try to work with tools that can help this process. Like I was saying in the last weeks, Ohio. Ooh, hello, Ohio. Big hello from Malta. Hello. Hi, Sierra Moseley. I was just saying that I had request to talk about grinding teeth and chewy tubes, chewing skills. Okay. You look like Chris from Mr. Beast. All right, thank you. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but okay, thank you very much. So I had a request to talk about grinding teeth and a little bit about picky eaters. Now I think summer is coming, at least here in Malta, no, in Malta, Europe, and a lot of parents are eager to work on picky eaters, on food, on all of these topics, and it's a very important topic and a very quite important skill, because there is nothing else worse for parents if the child is not eating the food. Hi, I'm not sure, I'm not understanding. What is that? Sorry. Basically, grinding teeth. Children with sensory difficulties, not only autism, but sensory difficulties in general, will often go for grinding the teeth as an expression of frustration or sometimes too much excitement. And they will be pressing the teeth and obviously grinding them, especially during the night. children who do not chew enough crunchy food, or children who doesn't have a big experience with food, they will be also grinding their teeth. Children non-verbal, so let's not talk about autism, but general children non-verbal, they will be also grinding their teeth. So we have different situations with different ages and different diagnosis or no diagnosis, where you will see all these different patterns. And is going to be something in common that all of them they will have, and it's going to be the fact of that all of us, we have sensory systems that are responsible for to give reactions to what is happening around of us. If I like the food, I will just eat it. If I like the smell, I will eat it. I will eat the food. If I see a swing and I'm comfortable with swinging, I will go on a swing. If I see a sensory toy or a spiky toy and I really feel like I would like to touch it, my sensory system will say, go for it. So that's why we were in previous videos, in previous online videos, I was talking about over-responsive and under-responsive children, right? So when we are over-responsive, that's mean that we are the sensory input is coming too fast to us, okay, and the opposite. So here with food is going to be exactly the same. Sometimes we need to work with a sensory profile to determine what's happening, why the child is not eating. And you will say, well, if the child is grinding their teeth, the child will be eating crunchy food. But those things are totally different. One thing is how comfortable the kid it is with his own jaw, and another thing is the acceptance of the food inside of the mouth and acceptance of chewing, which is completely different, right? Like I was saying before the video, before the live, in the last weeks, I had a lot of consultation about picky eaters and about parents who seeks professional advice about how to address children who don't eat anything at all. And I was saying that it is a very difficult task because first we need to differentiate if the child is having difficulties in the sensory or difficulties with behavior towards the food, because those two goes totally separated. When we have sensory difficulties, it's a one thing and we need to know how to work about it. And when is the behavior, we also need to know with who to work and how to work about it. Yes, so to the first topic about grinding teeth, if your child is grinding teeth, we always suggest, there is a video that I have in my YouTube channel about the Z vibe. We use it quite a lot. It's something that is highly suggested to use. If you're having your occupational therapist, you can ask for advice, but I definitely suggest it. To use the Z vibe, to use vibrating toothbrush. So if your child is brushing their teeth, but with a normal brush, replace it with a vibrating one. It will give a little bit more of calm sensation and also settle a little bit more the oral system that is kind of bothered by this constant grinding. No? You have to understand that grinding teeth, it is not just, it's something super funny. It gives headaches, it brings a lot of pain, a lot of difficulties with the jaw. Besides the dental issues, it has a lot of negative impact. So it is not just something, how to say, silly, kind of, to not to take in consideration. It's quite important. And also on the other sense, we use chewy tubes. I've been talking about chewy tubes for quite some time now, in different videos and so on, and in different YouTube videos that I did. So chewy tubes are fundamental. Sometimes I repeat myself so many times because I try to bring this topic very often that sometimes I feel like the only thing that I'm doing is doing chewy tubes, like promoting chewy tubes. But it's true, the importance of chewy tubes is very big, and it is not just to chew. chewable item, it is to know how to chew, when to use it, and how to use it. And many parents see a big difference. I see a big difference, you know. So, a little pause. How long have you been doing YouTube for? This project of Chat with Lisa, we started it, I will say maybe 2 months ago. 2 months ago. But I tried to, I started doing some videos a couple of years ago. Not just 2 months ago, I think maybe 3 years ago. But unfortunately, I'm quite busy with my clinic and I don't have that much of time to dedicate for you to bring more YouTube videos. But I hope this year we will have more content, new, fresh stuff. So we are working on it. I live in Malta. So yeah, let's say from Malta. I was saying about the grinding teeth, right? So that was a little bit the idea. So we have to experiment with the chewy tubes. Now, when the child is a picky eater and the child is not tolerating food, that's a totally different topic. That's nothing to be with grinding or not grinding the teeth. What usually we do is we have to separate both. We need to separate two topics if it's a sensory difficulty or it is a behavior issue. If the child is not eating food, any type of food, most probably it's a sensory issue. If the child is choosy, because sometimes I will have parents who will tell me, you know, the child eats one particular brand of yogurt, chocolate one, and one particular biscuit, chocolate or with a bit of sugary. So for me, that's something that we have to look into it, right? Doesn't sound like it's about sensory, but you never know. So that's something that we have to see and study. I almost never ever do a full feeding therapy, because unless if the child is in a very advanced level, you know, and I've been working with the child for quite some time, so I know exactly what he needs. Because most of the time there is underlying difficulties that we don't see. And when the parents comes, you know, and you are like coming with your question about picky eaters, you think that that's all, that's the only issue, or that is the main difficulty. And there are always other issues that are hidden, you know, or hidden, and you don't see them, and we need to work on them, and then slowly we can settle down the eating part. If we're talking about children with autism, obviously they are masters in stubborn and strong-headed, so it's a difficult task. Sometimes that's why I'm saying that behavior, it's very important to target from the early ages, right? Now just 2 weeks ago, I started to follow up a little cute girl. She has difficulties mainly to accept small pieces in her mouth. And yesterday we did our first session, and today the mother said that she already started biting, you know, small pieces. We didn't work on the food. We worked on texture, we worked on physical activities, we worked on sensory stimulation. I did introduce a small biscuit, you know, which was with dark chocolate, and she did accept a little bit, but that's not biting. That's merely just flavor, I will say. And that the fact that today the mother texted me that she already accepted a small piece of toast, that was fantastic to hear, you know. So there is always something going on. We just need to make sure that we have the right approach and we know how to observe what it is the issue. So, like I was saying before in this video, hi to those who are joining. We are talking about picky eaters, and we are talking about children who has difficulties with grinding the teeth and chewing skills. Most of the kids don't have swallowing issues, and this is where the parents have the concern, because it's not about swallowing, because they will be swallowing other biscuits, but they will not be accepting different food. And I think the reason why the child goes for certain foods, yes, and for certain no, it's because we provide them. I don't know if that makes sense, but I will try to explain myself. Well, depends on the age of the child. He doesn't go or she doesn't go to the supermarket to choose, right? We buy different things because we want to satisfy the kid's needs and we want the child to try different stuff and to see what she likes or not. Once the kid picks up one particular thing, we are like getting crazy. We go almost buy all the supermarket to home. So we make sure that we stock for month. But not usually that is the it's how to say it. It's not something wrong. Don't take me wrong. But we without bad intentions, we are limiting ourselves in the options that we would like to provide for our kids, so the child gets used to that 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks we're having the same pattern or same brand of biscuit. So why I will be switching to something else when actually this it's quite satisfying. I don't really have the need to try something else. So we have to be very careful of our habits. We have to be very careful how we introduce the different items, what we buy. I know that nowadays it's very difficult to cook at home, because life is busy and so on. But and not everybody likes the cooking, which totally fine. But try to be a little bit creative, especially in the first, 3-4 years. Those I will say to 4 years old, it's crucial. Most of the time, I don't have kids who will start experimenting, having like a regression kind of after 4 years old. It happens around 2-3 years old, and then the parents obviously get crazy because it is super bad situation. Then we go to the doctor, then we are checking the vitamins, we check the blood, we do a lot of tests and stuff, and everything is fine. So, and this is when sometimes children with autism appears because they are diagnosed through this process. And sometimes we have other sensory difficulties that we never checked and we never knew about it. And this is the momentum when the parents get to know. So I will say that be careful with the habits that we implement to the kids. Be careful about the food that you are presenting, especially when the children are very little, because especially in autism, not because I work so much with autism, so I see autism everywhere at all, but the tendency with children with autism, they like the simple things. They like what is safe. They like what they know. They are totally no to the unknown. I don't even want to try or explore. So not all the children. I am just saying we're talking about picky eater kids, okay? So we're talking about a specific, let's say, group of children with autism. Not all the children with autism react the same, right? But most of the picky eaters that I know or that I am working with are very particular in their selections. And the reason why they select one thing and not the other, it's because could be the way how the box is, the color of the box, sometimes is the name of the brand, sometimes is the flavor, and most of the time they love chocolate and they go for sweet things. So I will say, I often suggest not to bring the packet and do like a huge scene. Look, I bought this type, like emphasizing. I will say that when you do the shopping, you come home, you remove the packets, and the child will not maybe see the label or whatever. Or maybe if you have a jar for biscuit, you just put different biscuits in the jar. So the routine of the kid is getting a biscuit, but maybe every day the biscuit will be different, depends which one he chooses, kind of that type of ideas. But obviously this is I cannot just give one recommendation because there are really a lot of plenty things to do and a lot of advices to give. But yes, be very, very, very careful with those whose kids are picky eater. I had another mom who spoke about chewing. She asked me to mention that. Let me, if my memory helps me, because this week was a very tough one, and it's still Wednesday. So I believe that she said that tolerating the food, but there is no difficulties with swallowing. However, the child doesn't want to bite, so the food goes in, and that's it. You know, the child doesn't have no idea how to actually chew or so on. This is another topic. You know, this nothing to be so. Here, the underlying issue is the chewing skill. You have to make sure that if you're introducing food to chew, your child knows how to chew. If the child doesn't know how to chew, definitely we're having a big situation here. First, we have to make sure that the child is chewing. And then, thank you. And then we have the other situation. Once we know that the child is capable to chew and he is chewing, etc., then we need to make sure that the way how we introducing food is proper, no? And that we are respecting certain things, how to introduce the food and how to work with the textures. The best that I can suggest you is, if you are having difficulties in this phase, talk with an occupational therapist, early intervention, speech and language pathologist. Those three professionals are the one who can really, you know, follow you up, help you out, etc. Maybe even sometimes ABA, so behavior therapists, they could be analyzing the behavior of why the child is choosing particular food, and also work on the tolerance of and acceptance of textures. So depends, you know, depends on the professional with who you are and with who you're working with. But every therapist has their own way, and every therapist, you know, there is a way of targeting the situation. No, I am not Russian. No. And I will say that was a little bit. Sorry, I just moved. Thank you very much. I just moved a little bit the camera, so sorry for that. So that's a little bit what I have to say. That, you know, like grinding teeth, chewy tubes. Don't be scared about trying chewy tubes, because many parents are like, oh my goodness, my child will be having something in their mouth and they will be chewing and stuff. How does it look in the school or in the childcare or whatever? The idea is for you to get over with this as soon as possible. Your child will not need chewy tube for the rest of of his life or her life. This is going to be something that we use as a tool for one momentum, and that's it. Like I said, a good thing you can do is provide your kid a vibrating toothbrush. You can provide a lot of different balls, spiky balls, different surfaces where the child can, you know, explore, touch, and so on. I am from Ukraine. And basically that's all, you know. Chewy tubes are very important. About picky eaters, like I said, be careful of your habits. For example, today I had a consultation, you know, with a parent who basically the child is quite little, not that little, okay, but still, like, let's say it was 3 years old, and you know, even sitting, putting shoes, removing shoes, etc. It's something that we are always constantly working. Don't create an unnecessary habit. Don't start removing the shoes just to remove the shoes because you want to please your kid. You want your kid independent, right? Or not? I don't know, but my suggestion is always, you want your child, you want him to be independent, or her, in the future. They are cute, they are nice, there is an age for everything. But there is a certain moment where I always suggest to the parents, we have to move on and we have to let the child explore. We have to understand the kid that he needs to enter into the therapy room, he needs to go out of the therapy room, he can go downstairs, upstairs. There is no need for carrying the kid, there is no need for overprotecting when there is no danger. All these small things, it's not like to put a lot of pressure, but I always suggest to the parents, think about it. I don't tell you to follow my suggestions, just think about it, because sometimes I feel like we do really a lot of things and we do it unnecessary, you know. What is Padawan therapy? Padawan therapy is holistic approach, neurological approach, basically that works on the nerve system, stimulating, reinforcing, restoring lost functions or functions that are not functioning good. So um, um, it's a holistic approach that works with physical activity plus vision and oral stimulation. So they try to, in 1 hour, no, in one session, they try to stimulate all our system in one go. You will say every method does that. Yes and no. Yes and no. Padawan method is quite complete, and especially for oral stimulation, it's a very good methodology. So, Zainab, I have an 8-year-old that does not eat by mouth. How do I start feeding her? She's very resistant to food. And how she eats? She eats with a tube, with a peg, through the nasal tube, or she's using a peg in the stomach, a gastric, sorry. Aha. Nasal tube. G-tube, okay. With G-tube, I had worked, and I work with kids with G-tube, of course. What I like to do, it's to start first working on the reflexes to see exactly how the child, in which stage the child is. For example, if I don't know how is the medical history of your kid, so that's I'm just going to give suggestions, and then you see. I always suggest to start with some small liquids, liquidized food, obviously, for example, like yogurt, or maybe like puree, really puree of juice or fruit, like the babyish food when we are giving from 0 to 4 months old, depends when the first tooth comes out, no, and we start working on the lips. So what I like to do is, for example, even if melted chocolate, let's say, okay, you want to introduce something sweet, maybe something that she would like, etc. And you would like to put, no, I will put a little bit of chocolate around to see if she opens the mouth, if she closes the lips, if she is doing maybe some tongue movement to lick the chocolate. Sorry, I try to put chocolate, maybe I'm just saying chocolate as if it could be yogurt, anything around the teeth and inside of the mouth, super important, okay? So at the beginning, I always suggest to start working. In one side, you have the chewy tube, is super important. Children who don't, for 8 years, she didn't have the experience of chewing. So you have to understand that we are at the level 0 of chewing, right? So we need to start introducing the chewing with the chewy tube, maybe a soft one, so it's not very hard. And at the same time, a lot of stimulation inside of the mouth. And then slowly, you could be working on different textures and see how she's swallowing. If the child is very resistant to food, we don't come with a chicken nugget, right? We come with liquidized food, we come with something soft, we come with a little bit of apple juice, orange juice, I don't know, the same even milk, whatever, something that she will accept. But what very important is to see how the child is reacting to food. If there is any reflexes, because many times children with G-tube, they lose with the time some of the primitive movements and functionalities, and it's difficult to restore them. So you need to work to restore those skills before you will start introducing any food, okay? So that will be my suggestion. I've been working with kids with G-tube for quite some time now. Do you have any feeding videos? No. Maybe if you check it in my clinic, Panacea Therapy Center, if you check in the Instagram Panacea Therapy Center, or if you go in my Instagram, you will have on the bio link the link of my clinic. Sometimes over there we do post some videos of parents who record us, no? But I don't recall a video of eating as such. Stimulating, I don't think so, because it's a quite how to say, sensitive moment that not everybody is okay maybe to record, to show, etc. So I'm not sure, to be honest, right now with you. I don't know. But ideally, if you can, go in my social media and see a little bit. I post different videos. There are not too much, so it's not like you have to be, checking during 3 hours. But I'm pretty sure you can find something useful. If I get the chance to record one, I will definitely do it. So yes, definitely I will do it. But yes, that's a little bit how I would work on it, and this is how a little bit I will be targeting, because yeah, I remember this girl. We were working with her for quite some time at the beginning. You're welcome. We were working at the beginning about this type of stimulation, and now she's eating yogurt. She's taking really smashed food, etc. And we managed to remove the tube. We managed to remove so nasal tube for sure we removed in with this girl. Peg, which is the G tube, we also managed to remove with one boy. When he came for the therapy session, he used to eat just through the G tube, and now he's eating pizza, nuggets, whatever, he improved drastically. And they removed it like 3 or 4 years ago, so that was like super amazing news. Yeah. If you're consistent in the working, definitely you can have really good skills. Yes, I wish for your daughter as well. I don't know if you have any therapist around you, if you're working with any therapist. If not, try to get maybe some help from professionals who can guide you with this. But everything it's possible, like I always say, the most important is to have professionals with you that know what they are doing, and there is this, I like to call it teamwork, pushing forward to work on it, But yes, we had, it's just a pity that we don't record these things because obviously it makes us proud, but I don't have videos to show. However, I'm not sure if I don't have anything posted about it. Yeah. So that's a little bit about G-Tube. I don't know if you have any questions, anyone else over here about today's topic. For those who joined recently, came, go, went, and so on. We were talking about chewing skills, grinding teeth, swallowing difficulties, picky eaters, a little bit of all of that. I love the topic. I can be talking, 10 hours about it. But it's every case is different. Every child is different, so not one specific recommendation can really be applicable for everyone, So my intention here is obviously give you some hints, but the most important is that you work with a therapist close by. So yes, I think that's all for today, guys. If you don't have any question, and there is nothing else that you would like to ask me or regarding what I was talking, just a reminder, I connect every Wednesday at 7:30. So yeah, I am here every Wednesday. If there is anything, like I said, for example, today I had these two topics because I had two moms who asked me a little bit to talk about it. So if you have any topic in particular that you would like me to focus next time, can you explain swallowing difficulty? Well, I cannot enter too much into professional words, but yes, I can explain. Depends obviously on what is the difficulty. But if we're talking about children with swallowing difficulty, that is more of a job of a speech therapist, honestly speaking. What we do in occupational therapy when we have difficulties with swallowing is we try to understand what is the difficulty, if it's a muscle difficulty, if it's coming from a neurological disorder, if it's maybe coming from a physical disability, no? So you have to understand from what is the background. Most of the time, when children have like difficulty to swallow because they are afraid of the piece inside of the mouth, we have to forget about the food and we try to work on chewing. I will come back and like I said, I will repeat myself again. We will try to work on chewing. Chewing is such an automatic reflex and impulse, or call it activity, call it functionality, that many times is the one who is responsible of managing the drooling, managing the swallowing, managing the breathing control. So depends on what is the difficulty in swallowing. Like I said, this is all this area, it's speech and language pathologist. I don't enter as an occupational therapist. So what I mean, it's like if I will have a parent who will come, Lisa, I have difficulties with swallowing, I will check you, I will see. But if I see that it's outside of my territory and I don't think I can help you, I definitely will suggest you a speech and language pathologist whose job is mainly to work on that, no? Because they are more experienced and they are more professional in that level. But if it is something more on a not physical state, but more on a neurological, there are different ways how you can train the swallowing. You know, depends on the food, maybe not the food, for example, depends on the water. If the child is not able to drink water because there is difficulties of the thickness of the water, there are other products that can make the water more thick and easier to swallow. If the child is basically keeping just the food over here, then we will have to work on chewing, because that means that the child is not capable to understand that when there is food coming, there is a process. Because if you think about it, when we are eating, we need to work on certain movements with our tongue and our jaw in order for us to swallow. So the food goes to one side, then we chew, we do mastication, we go to the other side, mastication, middle, and we swallow. For that reason, you have to make sure that the tongue has good tonicity, that the tongue has good movement, and that the chewing is good. Usually, if there is no physical difficulty, muscle difficulty, or like I'm saying, anything that it's stopping you from swallowing, these skills are easy to train and they are very easy to work on them. But when we are having a difficulty, maybe for example with secretions, okay, or for example how to say asphyxiation, no, when we are eating food or drinking water, a lot of the child start panicking. Those are I will say situations where I don't master or work on, you know, I don't go to such level. I will always put myself back. I will continue working on chewing. I will reinforce a lot of vibration. I will reinforce a lot of stimulation. And then I will have to work with a speech therapist together so we can balance these skills. So I'm sorry, maybe Shashikant. Sorry for my pronunciation. I didn't answer your question, but for swallowing difficulties, just depends of what is the difficulty and from where it's coming from. You know, like from where. You're welcome. You're welcome. So this is, it's like for everything, you know, the same, for example, how to introduce the food. So you have to understand what is the difficulty before. But mainly we can do the job, no? Always we can do the job. But yes, this is what I'm saying. It's very important to understand where you hi to India. Thank you for joining. Very important that you understand in which professional needs to work on what and what are the main difficulties, because sometimes there are too many difficulties at once and we have to prioritize, etc., etc. But I will say that in general, for swallowing, could be great to work with a speech therapist and occupational therapist both. Yeah. So yes, now I will say that's it for today. It was a great session. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for sharing your personal situations, and I hope somehow this video is helping you or will help you. For those who are watching me and stay with me, thank you very much for your attention. For those who are watching me and we are not in live, join me every Wednesday at 7:30, and I'm here for you guys, okay? So that's a little bit the idea of this project, to connect, chat with you, help in what I can be helpful, and that's it. So for the time being, I wish you a good week. I hope you enjoyed the therapy lessons that you have, and I will be seeing you next week, next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Europe time. Okay, take care. Bye bye.